This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 454. Squirrel Energy. Welcome to Running Fever. It's a show about fitness, diet, and medicine. My name is Michael Davis. And it's all about living long and loving life. That's what we're doing today. Equipment malfunction right off the bat. My headlamp is not working. Now, fortunately, I forgot about this, but there are street lights here. So hopefully that will be enough. Anyway, I decided to come to Lake Atalanta today in Rogers, Arkansas. It's a beautiful day. It's dark, so I'm not sure what the sky looks like, but it's supposed to be clear later today. Sunrise at, 7:30 or so, an hour from now. We'll see how far we get and if we see the sunrise here. Not a single person in the parking lot, which maybe would be expected at 6:30 on a Friday morning, December, when it's 28 degrees outside. Again, not normally a temperature in which I would go out in recent years, but new attitude, people. New attitude. Motivation department. Hadn't been out here in a while, probably a year or more, I don't know. Time seems to be in flux all the time. Fashion report, kind of the same as last time. I hear it clicking, but it's just the railing responding to my footsteps. And I'm wondering if off to my left or to my right I see some ice. It's possible. The lake, of course, is not frozen. I don't think it ever gets cold enough to freeze the lake. But interesting. I think probably the last time I was here I had a working headlamp. The last time I was here at this time of day. But yeah, 28 degrees. Hopefully we'll warm up here. It doesn't feel too bad so far. Fashion report. Let's see. I need to get a base layer for the bottom half. Currently just wearing sweats, which is pretty cold. 3 layers on the top. This is not too bad. Could still probably use something a little warmer than just cotton and polyester. The old hoodie on. Gloves. Master knitter Henrietta Davis. And the hood's up, and I've got a skull cap on as well. Under the camera mount. Been here about 2 weeks away from 20 years, believe it or not. Can't believe it myself. That means I was 39. 39 when I came to Northwest Arkansas. So I got some, I don't know the timeline and when the episode's coming out. I did an episode on a factor meal service. I've recorded part of it, an unboxing. So subscribe to the Factor Meal service. I think it's pretty expensive, but you know, supposedly the the food is supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be better than because it's just a frozen dinner you heat up in 2 minutes, but it's supposed to be better than the ones you get in the supermarket, I suppose, grocery store. Otherwise, you wouldn't be paying so much money for it. I don't know. Find out. Honestly, I don't really eat frozen dinners from the grocery store. So why I'm eating them from a delivery service, I don't know. Just wanted to try it. I thought it might be a healthy alternative. Anyway, did come in a container by FedEx. With, everything was still frozen. So I did that episode and actually ate my first factor meal on camera there, and it wasn't bad. I mean, flavor-wise, it tasted good. It was enough food for a meal. So, those are the things you want, right? First Factor is just one of a number of these companies that are doing meal services. Hello Fresh, I think, is one. Blue Apron or something like that. We've got so used to, things showing up at our door. I was listening to someone on the radio saying, trying to explain back in the day, we used to go to buildings, obviously everybody knows that anyway, but yeah, we used to, if you didn't have something in the area, in a store in the area, you couldn't get it. Now you can get whatever specifically you want delivered right to your door. So that is something else. And my watch, I did not start the walking app. I will do so now, but it's telling me I've been walking for 10 minutes anyway. It just kind of automatically starts something or other. 3, 2, 1, go. Again, would be probably a good idea to watch a YouTube video on this watch. Even though they don't make it anymore, I'm sure there's plenty of video out there about it. It's supposed to be good weather today. Clear sky. But I'm supposed to get up in the 50s. It's amazing the range of temperatures we'd have lately. Yesterday, I think the low was, or overnight, I think the low was 25. The high was like 57 during the day. Just crazy stuff. 30-degree swing in one day. It's frickin' cold. I think I'm going to try for 2 laps here today, which would be longer than I've walked in a while. It's 2 miles around, so that would be 4 miles. But I'm feeling pretty good this morning. I took the day off. I haven't gotten into morning workouts on work days. I would have to, as bad as traffic is before 6 a.m., it's even worse at 7 a.m., so that's part of my concern, I guess, just inconvenience of that sort of thing. And I usually leave work earlier, so I have the same problem in the afternoon. I'm hearing some critter activity off to my right. No place to hide on the left, basically. Goes right down to the water. A few trees with no leaves on them. Leaves are gone at this point in the year. There's a limb that's come off recently because it's still got leaves on it. Dead leaves. Weather-wise, I like this time of year. I've learned in the running a fever inspired workouts that I can go out in the heat, no problem. Just prepare for it with hydration and sunscreen. But I still prefer the cooler months of the year. Just the way I'm wired, I guess. And you can prepare for that. Prepare for that too by dressing appropriately. They always say, you know, when it's hot, there's only so much you can take off. But when it's cold, you can put on as much as you want in terms of clothing. Funny how much life is driven by weather. You know, as soon as we had the technology, we're making artificial temperature control. The room that they took Abraham Lincoln to after he was shot, supposedly, I guess he died there, even though shot in the head, you'd think he'd die instantly. They had a crude form of air conditioning in that room. So that would have been 1865. The air conditioning in 1865. And of course, it took a really long time before it became popular and even ubiquitous eventually in the United States. But I took a course in Southern history in college, and it was interesting. There were probably most of the people in the class were actually Southerners, but it said the history of the South was formed more by weather than anything else, because compared with the rest of the country, it's relatively warm. So that it all changed in about the 1930s when air conditioning became available. Back in the lighted section. "25 minutes into the walk. Good morning. The birds are pretty angry up there. Or, upset in some way. I don't think I'm walking that fast today. Tips of my fingers are so cold. Try and pick up the pace. Concrete all the way around. It's interesting though, I was on the way here, I took kind of a wrong turn. I was just trying to find a different way here. I know I'd taken a different way, but not that much different really. It's kind of a loop. Goes around anyway. I saw on there it said Trail of Tears, historic trail. So there you go. Another section of Trail of Tears I'll have to check out here in Rogers. I've been on one in Fayetteville. I've been on one in Bella Vista. Or Pea Ridge, actually. Pea Ridge, because it was the Pea Ridge National Park up there. And now I've driven down one, and I drive by these signs all the time, so it's about the best method of discovering these things, because they're not always clearly described in the literature. But another Trail of Tears episode probably coming up. Fingers still cold. All right, yeah, I've picked up the pace and I'm kind of, 0.91, so I'll have a report pretty soon from Sammy. On what my heart rate is and all that. So that'll be good. I believe at my age, I'm only supposed to get up to about a 130, something like that. I'll get that. I've got it on my refrigerator, but I don't always remember the number. Any second now.
Average pace, 26 minutes 13 seconds per mile. Duration, 26 minutes 13 seconds. You've completed 1 mile. Heart rate, 113 beats per minute.
I think she said 13 and not 30. Could be wrong, but 2 squirrels running toward me. There's your wildlife. Not off in the bushes, but out here on the trail. I don't often see that, except I do remember being in Washington, D.C. in the, I don't know what they call it, that big park. And a squirrel came right up to me and I got a picture of him somewhere. Probably gone to the dustbin of history at this point, but probably thought I would have a nut for him to feed him and not afraid of any squirrel guns in Washington, D.C. But those guys were running right toward me. So thinking about heart rates made me think about my cardiologist visits, and I've been meaning to go set a new appointment, assuming I don't already have one on the books, with my cardiologist of many years. And I say that because he is booked out for about 18 months. 18 months. Cardiologist, to get to see a cardiologist. I mean, think of all that can happen in 18 months to your body. So probably not ideal if you're having regular issues. You need to see them on a regular basis. Oh, there's a jumping squirrel. Some serious jumping going on. I wonder if they get somehow energized by the cold. I wonder if the cold inherently possesses some squirrel energy. At least around this area it does seem that way. But the reason I want to see him is I've had a lot of non-CPAP time recently. It seems like we'll wake up and realize I hadn't had my CPAP on sometimes all night, and that's going to affect me because I have sleep apnea, and that would affect my heart because my heart will be working harder during those times. I haven't seen any visible effects of this in terms of swelling of the legs and so forth. But I am concerned about it and would like to kind of track that. I was diagnosed with an enlarged heart many years ago. Oh, probably I don't know, probably maybe over 20 years ago. I can't remember. I kind of used 2012 as the date I started using a CPAP, but I don't know, it might have been earlier than that. Now there are 4 cars in the parking lot as I'm finishing my first circuit of Lake Atlanta. And I think maybe the dog lady is finishing her circuit as well in the other direction. And it's now 7:15. So despite what my watch says, I've actually been going for 45 minutes. Which isn't bad, but I need to pick up my pace. Of course, part of that first circuit was, and that first mile was me getting out of my car, turning on the camera and stuff. Plus I took a little rest stop for a few minutes, so five cars. There's one on the other side. Good morning. People are friendlier in Rogers. 6 cars. They're really coming in now. Although now I think one of them has left, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take the shortcut. Go beside the lake here. Split off. I don't know if there's a main versus a shortcut, but this is a split that goes in between the sides. I mean, there's a lot more in the park I could do, but I'm like going around the lake is what I want to do here. And since I started the watch, it says 1 3/10 miles. But again, I didn't start the watch until 10 minutes into the walk. So maybe not be exactly 2 miles. We'll see at some point. I'm sure we'll go out here and we'll remember to turn on the walking app. But we've been doing 3 miles recently, so this shouldn't be too much of a trouble. And the sky's already getting lighter. So back onto the main trail here. And we'll start our second loop. And halfway through the session, it seems appropriate to encourage you to like and subscribe. Runners coming. Wonder what kind of maintenance they do on these guys. I mean, I've seen some sticks and stones on the path today. Critters off to the side, probably squirrels. They seem to be dominant in this area. But, you know, nothing that the wind might blow over, especially in this area where we have lots of wind. Tornado Alley, or near there. Well, the new attitude feels pretty good, but I can't say I've completely implemented it so far. I walked Monday, took the day off today, like I said, so that made it easier. I can't take every day off though, and I need to do something every day, I think, under the new attitude. So at some point I'm going to have to start going to the gym in the morning or walking in the morning. One of the two. It's almost winter. Today is 2 days away from the start of winter. So it's appropriate, the temperature, I suppose. It's supposed to be 77 degrees on Christmas Day. We shall see. Gotta keep on going. Same guy I met on the other side of the lake.
Average pace, 21 minutes 59 seconds per mile. Duration, 48 minutes 13 seconds. You've completed 2 miles. Heart rate, 100 beats per minute.
Heart rate's going down, but my speed is going up. So that's good. 21-minute mile is not bad. But we're just now hitting 2 miles, so probably more like a mile and a half around. We will see when we get to the end. I was told it was 2 miles around, but I don't think I've ever tested that. Maybe I tested it and the old number just stuck in my mind. That could have happened. Little gazebo off to the side here. You could have a little more private party than in the main park. I don't know if you have to reserve it or not. There's a light there. And there's another trail off to the side called The Grove. And it's got a railroad engine picture on it. Should try some of these trails. I think they're okay to walk on or hike on. Well, they may have been made for biker cyclists. Well, it feels like we're on the backside of the trail, but I think it's quite a bit longer than the front side, in the same way that the outside lane of a turn is longer than the inside lane. That kind of curve going there. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it looks like this is a dam. You know, and it's got a weird thing over here. It kind of reminds me of Lake Fayetteville and that walk that goes across and gives you great views and stuff. And then it's got a weird thing that may be some kind of leveler draining somewhere. There's no water on this side of the dam, so maybe it's a levee. I'll have to check out my water hydro terminology. A little sort of clearing down there, some rocks. I wouldn't really call it a park because there's just so much dirt. But yeah, it's a Lake Atalanta levee, or just Atalanta levee, or Levee Atalanta could be. Any of those. There's some jet trails in the sky. It looks pretty clear. Got some cirrus clouds up there. I suppose this was a natural lake at some time. I know I went through the history at some point. Probably the first time I came here. And there's a road up from that park area. The dirt park, if you want to call it that. Third time I've seen that guy. Now he's running. I wouldn't feel like running at the end of a mile and a half of walking, but you know, he's probably in better shape. I can hear the water coming here, so that's this is definitely where the leveling happens into this creek. I'm not going to stop at the creek. I'll try to give you a view as I pass by. There's a sign here. Let's see what that says. Dark the first time I came around here, so didn't see that sign facing the other way. Lake Atalanta Loop, 1.8 miles it says. So that's useful information. It is close to 2 miles. And I'm at 2.61 miles now. So I should have another mile to go. Doesn't seem like that, but I'm doing okay physically. I'm not exhausted or going blind or out of breath or anything. Don't have a heart attack. I'm not experiencing any of those symptoms. .8 miles. I'll try to keep that in my head. I wouldn't have seen that sign if I hadn't, possibly. Well, some people have some lake view houses here, not bad. Not a lot of wind right now. There was a wind advisory yesterday. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see those houses for the trees, although there seems to be some cutouts out there so it doesn't obstruct their view. But from down here, during the spring and summer and autumn months, you wouldn't be able to see up there for all the leaves. Wow, there's a steep trail. Billy Goat Trail. Kind of reminds me of Miller's Goat Trail at Mount Nebo, in that it looks very difficult. And it looks kind of treacherous. It's quite a drop off there, steep drop off. Billy Goat Trail. Of course, I guess that could have been a mile marker. Not representing the entire trail, because it looks like I'm coming up here and I don't think it's going to be 3.6 miles. It's only 2.85 now. It must include some other parts of the trail, like, I just went around the water. There's some other, it goes all the way around the park, a significant park area with pavilions and seats and grass and various landscaping, etc. I think they've even got a restroom there. There's a boat launch. Bring your boat, go fishing with a boat. Yeah, almost 8 o'clock now. The sun's definitely up, although you can't see it here. It's definitely up. Sky's blue. You can see the sun shining on the trees up ahead. The tops of the trees. 2.94 miles. 1 hour. So not bad overall, especially considering the fact that I did stop and had some startup time when I was getting all the equipment going. Pretty good workout today.
22 minutes 3 seconds per mile. Duration 1 hour 10 minutes 16 seconds. You've completed 3 miles. Heart rate 108 beats per minute.
Yeah, so just completing 3 miles and about 100 yards from my vehicle. So yeah, more than 1.8 miles around, or less than, and I would have to go another way to get 1.8 miles. Fingers aren't cold anymore. Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. People and their pets. Cat person myself, and they don't really walk very well in terms of taking them for a walk. The dogs do, and I see a lot of dogs on the trails, at least around here. But I'm taking the short way. No, not that much shorter. All right. 3 miles, almost exactly. Interesting. Probably be 3.2 car to car. But we're done with this episode. You'll have to check out the next one, or listen to this one again if you like. And much more at runningafever.com. Audio and video available there. And until next time, if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't catch the fever, I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.